I know a lot of people are thinking, Jordan, where are you? I don't know. I don't know. I know I have 5 more hours left and there's 2 possums.
You know I had to do it to him. First thing I noticed is that the North Face logo on your sweater was backwards, meaning you recorded this in selfie mode. So after reversing the image to get a better lay of the land, I noticed some pretty flat and arid landscape, some sparse vegetation, and some very clear skies. All this is fairly reminiscent of the Southwest or the Great Plains states, which is why I noticed most people in your comment section guessing things like Oklahoma, Nebraska, Texas, or Nevada. Lucky for me though, I'm not most people. Imagine this is a road trip, and if this was some big cross-country road trip, you'd expect this highway behind you to be some interstate highway, but I noticed some problems there. First, using this pole as a reference, I noticed it took this truck approximately 1.21 seconds to travel just around 80 feet. It would only put the truck speed at 45 miles an hour, which is pretty slow for an interstate highway. Additionally, this overhanging sign seemed to comprise of 2 flashing lights on either side with a diamond warning sign in the middle, which I could only imagine being something like this, with the 2 flashing lights adding to a warning for an upcoming stop. Again, something you would not expect to see on an interstate highway. Maybe this wasn't an interstate highway. Maybe this was actually just a state highway that would have an intersection with a traffic light of some kind if it intersected with another state road. It seemed to be the case because the road behind you, while it only had 1 lane on the left side, actually had 3 on the right, which would make sense if 1 was a turning lane to the left, 1 was a turning lane to the right, and 1 just continued straight. The only other place I thought you might see a sign like this would be perhaps if this was at an entrance to the highway. It didn't really look like there was anything behind this post to intersect from. It also seemed like you were standing so close to this highway over here that if this road that runs perpendicular to the highway over here turned into an entrance of some kind and didn't intersect with it, we should be able to see that entrance at some point throughout your video. All this seemed to suggest that you were never on an interstate highway, and these 2 roads behind you are just 2 state roads. The only way you'd pull over and not be next to an interstate highway would be if you were never on an interstate highway at all. You were just on state roads this entire time. Told me you never left the goddamn state. Or in motherfucking California. 2 things that let me know which state roads to look for. The first being that whatever road this is, it has to be important enough to have a sign like this. It seemed to be one of these changing displays, which you typically only ever see on major roadways. I also noticed the moon over your head over here, and based off of the part of the moon that's visible and the date that you uploaded this, it determined the moon's azimuth to be around 100 degrees. So put the moon directly east, which means whatever road this is has to be traveling east-west. Given the fact that you're already back in San Diego just 3 days later for a poker tournament, I figured that you were actually on your way back from whatever road trip this was. I figured I'd first start looking in the Fresno area, roughly 5 hours away from San Diego, where I found these 2 state roads that seemed to intersect at the direction and sizes I was looking for. I opened up Google Street View for that location. The very first thing I noticed were these 2 signs. Looks familiar, doesn't it? Additionally, these boxes on the side of the road above your shoulder, found looking from that same vantage point. This white pole behind you with paint chipping off in the corner is this one, with the exact same scratch marks. Putting you in Blackwell's Corner, just 4 hours away from San Diego. Specifically, in the parking lot of this general store. Remember kids, even if you don't know where you are, someone does.